Wow. Hey, I am Charles Morse, and I am solo tonight. Huh. Anyway, Charles Morse with Youth Central Connection. So somehow, some way, I have to try to fill an hour by myself. Nap time is always good, though, right? Nothing like a good nap. Anyway, I'm Charles Morris. Welcome to Youth Central Connection, something that we started a while back. My partner in crime, Mr. Vince Carter, Sr. Everybody know Vince Carter, the ball player. His son, and that was one of the things that I always tease Vince about, is that when you look at the son and you look at him, there's no way that he ever could have gone to the wife or the mother and said, "That's not my child." There's no way. All right. They look alike a lot. So anyway, Vince is in Tennessee, and he started a second gig. Well, in addition to what he was doing, he is now working with special needs students, and the basketball season has kicked off as well. He's up there coaching high school basketball. And so in addition to getting ready for the cold weather, winter is there, not officially, but like last week when I talked to him, the temperature has gotten down to around 27 degrees, which is normal up there. But here in Central Florida, that's a whole nother story. I won't get into that. But anyway, I'm Charles Morris, happy to be here on a Wednesday. We come to you every Wednesday at 11 p.m., 10 o'clock his time, for Youth Central Sports. And what is Youth Central Sports? Youth Central Sports is part of Youth Central Connection, which is part of my nonprofit, which has been around since 2003. As a matter of fact, we're coming off our 15th annual What's My Anti-Drug Youth Summit. That was Friday and Saturday. We had the Gospel Teen Idol on Friday night, which was very successful in the sense of a night of worship and praise is what I call it. You know, I try to make it fun. It's not about first, second place, or first, second, third place. It's about coming together and just having fun, watching the kids. My pastor was the host. I will be putting the video together. It actually was streamed live at the time, but I'm going to go back and make some adjustments here and there, and I'm going to air it again on my website, Youth Central Connection, which is where you can watch it here. Also, the Journey 2020. And I will also air it on Twitter and Facebook as well. We had 7 contestants. The Gospel Teen Idol was ages 6 to 19. We had 3 bands, I would say, and the rest was solo artists. And a little girl from New Covenant Baptist Church won, Bria won first place. So 15-year-old girl singing one of Yolanda Adams' songs. So anyway, Youth Central Connection that Saturday had the annual summit that I've been doing for the last 15, 16 years. And it was very successful from the standpoint that I was trying to get the kids involved in STEM research in robotic surgery, their interests. And it went over very well. It was a little different than my normal summit because of this, primarily the STEM research in robotic surgery was the heart and soul of the summit, where normally I would have workshops for boys and girls and parents, and then we would have one workshop in the sense of bringing in a speaker. And a speaker would be in all of the workshops, depending on what the topic is, for the parents, for the girls, for the boys. And we would come together again and have one, as we would talk about something national, like what to do in case you're stopped by law enforcement, since that had been in the news for a period of some years, and so on and so forth. So Youth Central Connection had been around since 2013, and Vince and I started Youth Central Sports a few years ago when we used to do radio here locally, here in the Orlando area, and we would highlight and talk about some of the middle school and high school sports. Didn't too much talk about the pros in college as much as we do now on Youth Central Sports now, because we bring all of it together, because we try to use Youth Central Sports as a way to talk about sports in the sense of the blessing it can be. There's also the bad side of it when you are with mentors that are not good mentors, like any and everything else in life. But we try to convey how it's a tool that can be extremely positive and can have so many lasting effects. Because, like, for an example, I give you a perfect example. And for those out there who are listening and who may want to do this, because I myself, if you get a chance, and if you can email me if I can find the email address. Here it is right here. You can, if you can find some statistics, because where Vince is now, it's not like here in Florida. I don't know what happened, but middle school sports has basically have kind of gone away. I don't know what's the deal, why. Where Vince said middle school sports is very prominent and dominant there in the Tennessee area. But here in Florida, I don't know what happened. I don't know what's wrong with these people. But I would love to find out the statistics. Vince and I kind of talked about it last week, where the grades may have gone down, crime may have gone up, and those type of things after there's no sports. And statistics show that once these kids are involved in sports, and whether it's volleyball, softball, bowling, so on and so forth, swimming, and the list goes, golf, doesn't have to be football and basketball. I'm talking about, there's baseball, there's all these other sports that takes up the kids' time, and it's a method in which the kids are not home alone, and the list just goes on, and you can use it as a way of discipline, homework, and the list goes on and on. But for some odd reason, I don't know what's wrong with the state of Florida and why all of a sudden they just decided to just cut the middle school sports. It's just, it makes no sense. And I can relate to it from understanding where I came from and knowing the effect and hands-on, excuse me, where I came from, and seeing how, like, my first father figure was my coach in 7th grade, and the impact that he had on me, and the impact that he had on so many others that from my neighborhood, and how those coaches helped out in so many ways that I can't even, I could sit here and talk for the next 3 or 4 hours on the impact of those coaches. And for them to take that away, I just don't think that they're in touch with reality on some things. But statistic wise, I just know that there's a positive, there's a positive effect on the sports in middle school, when, especially coming from my neighborhood, when there's that father figure there that they see every day, whether or not it was in the PE class and so on and so forth, because we took PE every day. Every day we had PE, and so that reinforcement was there, and so it was a lot of fun. In addition to that, back then, it's funny because let's just say school started at 7 o'clock. It may have started at 7:30, 8, I don't know. But we got there plenty enough time to play a couple of full court basketball games, so we were there early. to play ball and so on and so forth. It was just a regular thing at our school that we would get there early in the morning and we would play full court basketball, a full game, and it was just a regular thing that we did. That was a tradition at our school, and for them to take that away, I just don't know about our educators. But anyway, Youth Central Sports, that's primarily what it's about. We try to use it in a way of having discussions about the do's and the don'ts. My views are a little different than the common person. I personally don't think that we was put here to play sports. I don't think that we was put here to play football. I don't think that we was put here to hit home runs and dunk and kick people in martial arts and so on and so forth, even though we may be excellent and great to run, hop, skip, and jump, and very, 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 very good at it, to hit a ball with a stick, whether or not it's golf, baseball, whether or not it's kickball. We can do those things extremely well. But when God created man, that was not his purpose. And thinking, you know what? I got a football player here. No, that's not why we're here. So that's my angle. As they sit there and what is so amazing to me is that they actually sit there and have a discussion about well, do you think that we should be playing football? No, in reality, no, you shouldn't be playing football. It doesn't make sense to play football in the sense of our makeup. The constant, if you understand physics, something has to give. And the constant pounding of what it takes to do this on that level, whether it's basketball and all the stuff that happens, the body over a period of time is going to start to give from the physics part of it, because it's physical. It's physical. So there's things that you can do, of course, but at some point in time, your body is going to start showing the wear and the tear. Who don't understand that? But football, no. Football is something that we do, but football is not something that we should be doing. But we love it, but the game is what it is, boxing and all this other. We can be very good at it, but that's not why we're here. So that's my angle. I talk about the passion that we show and the love that we show for all of this that is truly meaningless in the sense of what we do and the effort and how we define it, to the point that you have these grown men on a Sunday and a Saturday morning sitting there talking about a child's game. And then if you go to the professional level or even college, the money, the billions and trillions of dollars that is made from a child's game. And I think it has more to do with our makeup, our society, our value system, and how we go about our lives and where we place the value, because it bothers me that a football player value is not the same as an educator who truly makes a difference and touch so many lives in so many ways, who is a different maker, but he or she occupation is so low on the podium that they get paid not like an athlete. Something is not right in our wisdom of existence in society and our purpose. So when you look at, as they say, well, the lifespan, not lifespan, but the years of occupation for an athlete is only this, da, 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 so on and so forth. But nobody says that you have to play it. Nobody's making you play it. But it's called supply and demand. But if we're willing to go and pay these tickets and go pay to see them play and so on and so forth, then you have all the right in the world to ask for the money. And if they're going to give it to you, you should take it. But to me, where I come from, and I just think there's something wrong with us, something seriously wrong with our society and who we are and our value system and where we place the importance of our existence and how we go about our lives and how we live it causes major problems, and let alone with those that can get away with stuff simply because they jump high and run very fast. It's absolutely amazing. Anyway, enough of that. Again, I'm Charles Morse. You're watching the Youth Central Sports. If you have any show ideas or you would like to be on the show with Vince, hopefully Vince will be with us next week. You can always email us here at youthcentralsports@gmail.com. That's youthcentralsports@gmail.com. And I am Charles Morse at Youth Central Sports. So very difficult. I have to try to fill an hour because I'm obligated to do the show. So I have to do what I have to do. So I was just sitting here. I'm going to talk about these bowl games coming up. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I found out just on the news that Los Angeles would be the largest city that would be able to, the largest city to legalize recreational marijuana. And here in the Orlando area, I think there's, what did they say, 1,300? Was it 1,300? Is it 13? I think there's 1,300 new prescriptions are written every day? Or is it 13 pharmacists? But anyway, I have to look it up. But here in the Orlando area, they're starting to grow as well. But Los Angeles is the largest city that has legalized. What is this? What? I'm sorry. What is? Oh, I'm sorry. It was something. Okay, let me see here. Wow. Okay. Let me, I'm sorry, I got this email on something and it just threw me off. So let me go here, and I looked up the bowls, and my question is, do you think there are too many bowls? There's always the argument, and Vince and I get into this thing about the bowls. I've always said that I don't respect the bowls, college football. I just don't, because to me they're what they call paper champions, where people sit around and vote on who's number one in that sense and that kind of stuff, when all of that should be decided on the field. There's just something not right about that, but I get it. And what I say is, it's really not about who's number one. It's not about the play on the field. It's only about the money, and that's all that they care about. They love the discussion. They love the argument. They love that this time of the year when we as fans go back and forth and all this other stuff. So they like that kind of stuff. The controversy, it's, it keeps it going. Part of the conversation. To me, it sucks. But that's just part of it. I just have no respect for college football Division I championship. I just think it's just a haul of just wanting to make money and more money, and they have the right to do so. Let's see here. I'm sorry. Let's see here. The first bowl is going to be on December 16th. The Celebration Bowl, December 16th. It's going to be Grambling versus North Carolina A&T. That's the Battle of the Band Bowl right there. All right, that's the Battle of the Band Bowl. We actually were talking about that a couple of weeks ago, because we were talking about the Florida Classic. And for those that here that's not in this area, Florida Classic is really a big deal here in Florida. It's FAMU versus Bethune-Cookman University. And those schools been going at it for years. And it's one of the biggest rivalry in all of football. You may not know anything about it if you're not from this area, but it's just as big as Auburn and Alabama. It's just as big as Florida and Georgia. It's just as big as Notre Dame and USC and so on and so forth, USC and UCLA. It's just as big as any game, period. So the Grambling, North Carolina State, I would say would be the same thing. And so when you got the Battle of the Bands, when you have schools like Grambling and Southern, North Carolina A&T and Cookman and FAM, man, it's really the Battle of the Bands. And that's a whole different perspective of the game, because it's not about the game. A lot of people go to those games, well, it's more like you go see your friends, and and there's the tailgating and all of that, and it's the coming together, it's the activities. At halftime, it's the activities. Before the game, it's the activities. After the game kind of like, yeah, okay, we'll watch a little bit of football, but actually it's a combination of so many things. I think the game is probably the small part of it, but the Battle of the Bands is probably bigger than the game itself. And that would probably be the same for Grambling and North Carolina A&T at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Alrighty then, it's the Celebration Bowl, December 16th, Grambling versus North Carolina A&T. This is called the R and L Carrier New Orleans Bowl. I don't know if that's left, right, whatever that is. Troy versus North Texas. Oh, wait a minute. I'm totally confused. Oh, okay. Okay, no. Oh, okay. Oh, that's why. In Atlanta, it's called the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That's why I was confused. But in New Orleans, it's called the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. So I'm like, wait a minute, I just looked at the Mercedes-Benz, but it's the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. That game will be in New Orleans. That other game that I was talking about, the Grambling North Carolina A&T, would be in Atlanta. Oh boy, the people gonna be in the house. Oh boy, that's gonna be a fun weekend. Wow, I could do a show on that by myself. A football game, a bowl game in Atlanta, and you got Grambling and North Carolina A&T in Atlanta. I'll leave the comments to myself. Wow. If I was only 21 again. Wow. Anyway, the AutoNation Cure Bowl would be Western Kentucky versus Georgia State. That will, oh, really? That's going to be here in Orlando. That's going to be at the Camping World Stadium here in Orlando. Western Kentucky versus Georgia State. That's going to be on the 16th. Okay. Alrighty then. The Las Vegas Bowl. Alrighty then. They're going to be in Sin City. It's Boise State versus Oregon at Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas. The Gildan, New Mexico Bowl. Marshall versus Colorado State at the Branch Field and Dreamstyle Stadium in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I didn't even know they had a bowl game in New Mexico. All of this is taking place on December 16th. So that's not that far away. So that's in Las Vegas. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a little quick, break, right quick. We're going to take a quick little break, and we'll be right back after this.
Hi, I'm Dr. Abraham Woods, a urologist in Altamont Springs, Florida. Today, I'd like to get you interested in something that you probably never heard of. There is a shot going around, and it's not the flu shot, that's giving rejuvenation and vitality to women. Now, there are times when women laugh, cough, sneeze, and wet themselves. This same shot helps to correct that problem. If you've never heard of it, there's a shot that's now called the O shot. This shot has a lot to do with giving you back your platelets. Plasma that's rich in your platelets has been shown for years to help with revolutionizing your body. Think about Kobe Bryant, an athlete that had knee trouble. Instead of getting the surgery done, he had injection of his platelets. Now, today, we have available in our office a procedure that can take almost 20, no more than 30 minutes of taking your blood, drawing your plasma, and getting your rich platelets so that we give it back to you in a nice, sterile environment under local anesthesia. This is something we need to talk about. Are you interested? Can we get closer? Look at me at centerforurology.org. I'm Dr. Abraham Woods, and I would like to introduce you to something that may revolutionize your orgasms, your ability to have good sex, removing dyspareunia, that is painful intercourse, removing leakage of urine, and making you more sexual and increasing the capacity for you to obtain and receive better orgasms. Check me out, Dr. Abraham Woods at centerforurology.org, and I would like to help you increase your sexual performance and bring rejuvenation to your life.
All right, well, you make sure that you check out Dr. Woods at the Center of Urology. Wow, he's an amazing guy. He's my urologist, and he's so smart, man. God, he's so smart. Man, he's a really good guy too. So those out there should check out the P shot and the O shot. You need to Google that too. You might be amazed. P shot and the O shot. All right. I'm Charles Morse here with Youth Central Sports. Happy to be here with you on a Wednesday evening. The Warriors. Let me see. They blew out North Carolina. I forgot who they were playing tonight, but they won. I think they won about like 9 points. Curry didn't play tonight. Durant got a triple double as well. Green didn't play as well, but they had no problem. Anyway, we were talking about the Bowls game that's going to be taking place starting December 16th. We were up at the Las Vegas Bowl, and now we're at the. Oh no, actually we ended with Albuquerque, New Mexico, the Gildan New Mexico Bowl, Marshall versus Colorado State. That game is on ESPN as well. Okay, the Raycom Media Camellia Bowl, Middle Tennessee versus Arkansas. That is in Montgomery, Alabama. Lord have mercy. Woo! Montgomery, Alabama. Crampton Bowl, at the Crampton Bowl. What is the Crampton Bowl? Tickets are still available. Okay, so we go from December 16th to December 19th. Really? I did not know Howard Schellingberg Field at FAU Stadium, Boca Raton, Florida. Akron versus Florida Atlantic. Wow. The Cherry Bunt Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl. Okay, that's December 19th. I probably just messed that up trying to pronounce that. The DXL Frisco Bowl. That's December 20th. Louisiana Tech versus SMU. That's in Frisco, Texas, at the Toyota Stadium. That is, let me see, that is going to be on ESPN. Okay. Temple versus Florida International. Wow. Okay. Florida International made a bowl. That game is going to be in St. Pete on December 21st. That game is going to be on ESPN. And that's the Bad Boy Moore. And I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Gasparelli Bowl. Gasparelli. Probably screwed that up. Wow. The Bahama Bowl. In the Bahamas, Nassau, Bahama. Alrighty then. UAB versus Ohio. How lucky are those guys? They're going to be at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium in the Bahamas. Okay. That's on December 22nd. I'll probably be happy about that. Also on December 22nd, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Okay. That's Central Michigan versus Wyoming at the Lyle Smith Field in Albertson, at Albertson Stadium in Boise, Idaho. Boise, Idaho. That's on December 22nd. All right, coming up right before Christmas on December 23rd, the Birmingham Bowl, Texas Tech versus South Florida in Birmingham, Alabama. That game is also going to be on ESPN. The Lockheed Martin Army Force Bowl with San Diego State versus Army. Okay. That game is going to be played in Fort Worth, Texas at the Amon G. Carter Stadium. That game is going to be on ESPN. Okay, right before Christmas. Also, the Dollar General Bowl at Appalachian State versus Toledo. That game is also going to be in Mobile, Alabama. That's where my dad and my uncle was born. Mobile, Alabama. Again, I'm Charles Morse, and we're kind of going over the bowls right now. Coming up, we're up to December 23rd. No, actually, we're up to December 24th, Christmas Eve. And the Hawaii Bowl. Wow. Okay. Fresno State versus Houston. I guess that's their holiday trip where they get to go to Honolulu, Hawaii. That game is also going to be played on ESPN, which is interesting because that game is at 8:30 p.m. It's not a daytime game, it's a nighttime game. So I guess people are going to be chilling on Christmas Eve, and depending on where you are and how the weather is, whether it's going to be cold or cozy and snow outside, or whether or not you could be here in Florida and the temperature could be about 78 degrees. But that game is going to be played December 24th in Honolulu, Hawaii. That's for Fresno State and Houston. The game is going to be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, day after Christmas, Zaxby Heart of Dallas Bowl. That game is going to be, actually that's the Cotton Bowl. Well, it's going to be, nope, I'm sorry. It's going to be at the Cotton Bowl. That's going to be Utah versus West Virginia on December 26th in Dallas, Texas. Okay, whew, these are a lot of bowls, man. Wow. The Quick Lane Bowl, Duke versus Northern Illinois. That's going to be on ESPN. That's going to be at the Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan, the Motor City. The Quick Lane Bowl, Duke versus Northern Illinois on ESPN. That game starts at 5:15 p.m. That would be Eastern Time. I guess it would be Eastern Time. The Cactus Bowl. Okay. That game also will be played. So there's 3 games that will be played on December 26th. The Cactus Bowl is the 3rd game. All these games are on ESPN. The Cactus Bowl, Kansas State versus UCLA. That game is going to be played in Phoenix, called in Chase Field. December 27th, that is my sister's birthday, my sister and brother's birthday. Walk on Independence Bowl, Southern Mississippi. Oh, as bad as Florida State. What was they, 6-6 this year, and they made a bowl? Wow. Which is something that we were going to talk about because they hired a new coach. You know, the old coach went to Texas A&M, and you cannot blame him. He signed a 10-year contract, I think, for like $75 million. Ching, ching. So, and you know, I often wonder if that takes away the pressure. Once you sign that kind of contract, does it add pressure or take away the pressure when you sign those big contracts and To me, I think is it pressure? I think that you just do what you normally do because that's why you got the contract anyway. To me, I think a lot of times it's just keeping the program clean because we talked about this as well, is that no matter what campus you go on, if you dig deep enough, you're going to find something. That's without a shadow of a doubt. That's no if, no ands. I don't care where you go. Well, you can go to UCLA. If you go into the Duke's basketball program, if you dig deep enough, you'll find something. You know, that's just the nature of the beast. And I'm not saying that they're doing anything wrong, but we are who we are. And when you're dealing with people who are, how can I say that? What would be a nice way of saying that when you're dealing in that area of life, a lot of times these athletes at a very young age are pampered and they're expected for something because of how we treat them. But anyway, I won't get into that. That's another show. Anyway, on December 21st, okay, Southern Miss versus Florida State. I wonder how they're going to play now that Jimbo is gone, and I guess the assistant, and they hired it's Tate from Oregon. And the thing is, I was trying to remember him because he was at South Florida, because the guy that I remember at South Florida that was very successful was not him. So I'm like, where was I? Anyway, Florida State did, hired their new coach, and so we will see. He was 7-5 at Oregon this past season, so I understand he was very successful at South Florida as well. So the New Era Pinstripe Bowl, okay, that's at Yankee Stadium in New York. That's going to be played on December 27th. Okay, Iowa versus Boston College. Well, Boston College don't have to travel far. That's at 5:15 on December 27th at 5:15. So I'm gonna take a yell out, and I'm just gonna yell in the kitchen. My sidekick in the kitchen. Can you tell me what day the 27th is on?
Wednesday.
Huh?
Wednesday.
Oh, it's a Wednesday. A Wednesday game at 5:15? Wow, that's interesting. On a Wednesday. I was thinking if the game was at 5:15, I was thinking it would have to be on a weekend. That was why I was asking. Foster, I guess I could have looked it up right here on my phone. But that's why you have the sidekick in the kitchen. Foster Farm Bowl, Arizona versus Purdue. That's at Levi Stadium in St. Clara, California. Arizona versus Purdue. That game is on Fox. Hey, we finally got a game that's not on ESPN. Hey, Foster Farm Bowl, Arizona versus Purdue. The Academy Sports Outdoor Texas Bowl. I wonder where that game is. Texas versus Missouri. By the way, are these? I mean, let me see. We're at the 27th. Okay. Now we're getting closer to the first, so some of these games should be interesting now because we're getting close to the first. So, anyone interested in Texas versus Missouri? In Houston, that game is being played in Houston, also on ESPN. The Military Bowl presentation by Northrop Grumman. Virginia versus Navy. Jack Stevens Field at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. It's going to be played in Maryland. That game is also on ESPN on December 28th. So let me see. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we left the 27th. So now we're on the 28th. That's the Military Bowl presented by Northrop Grumman. Camping World Bowl. Okay. Here in Orlando. Okay. Virginia Tech versus Oklahoma State. Okay. I wonder what kind of draw that's going to be here in Orlando. The Camping World Bowl. That's number 22 Virginia Tech versus number 19 Oklahoma State at the Camping World Stadium here in Orlando. I wonder what kind of draw that's going to be. We have number 13 Stanford, the Alamo Bowl. The Alamo Bowl. Number 13 Stanford versus number 15 TCU. That game is going to be in San Antonio, Texas on ESPN. Man, ESPN is racking up, man. Okay. Whew. Man. San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl. Number 18 Washington versus number 16 Michigan State. Fox. Oh, a game gonna be on Fox. And it's gonna be at the SDCCU Stadium. I guess that's San Diego something stadium. I don't know. It's in San Diego. Game is gonna be on Fox. So number 18 Washington State versus number 16 Michigan State. That should be a pretty good game. Washington State versus Michigan State. I might watch that one. Okay, on December 29th, the Belk Bowl. You know, like Belk's, the store. Wake Forest versus Texas A&M, who, under Jimbo Fisher, well, I don't know, the new hire, they fired the coach. I wonder where he's going to end up. He's going to find a job somewhere because he did a decent job at Texas A&M. Okay, Wake Forest versus Texas A&M. It's going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's Bank of America Stadium, the Belk Bowl. Okay, the Hyundai Sun Bowl. Okay, that's number 24 North Carolina versus Arizona State. Oh, a game on CBS, the Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas. That's on December 29th. Okay. Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl. Wow, that's interesting. That Kentucky is playing closer to December 1st than Stanford, TCU, Virginia Tech, Oklahoma State, Texas, Missouri, Arizona, Purdue, Iowa, Boston College, and Florida State, all of these schools that are known to be football powerhouses. Kentucky is playing closer to the first than all those teams I just named. That's interesting. Kentucky is playing number 21 Northwestern. That game is in Nashville, Tennessee. Okay, that game is also being aired on ESPN. And of course, and actually talking about it, I really want to talk with Vince about these different games is why I'm really going over them. Because of course you can look these games up yourself. To me, Vince and I get into the conversation about college playoffs and all this other stuff. And to me, it's just a racket where they just know they're going to make their money. They don't care anything about who's really the best college team. They just do what they do for the best interest for the money. It's not about trying to find out who's really number one, which is another story. Nova Home Loan Arizona Bowl, Utah State versus New Mexico State. That game is going to be played in Tucson, Arizona, at the Arizona Stadium that Game is going to be on CBS starting at 5 p.m. Again, that is December 29th. The Goodyear Cotton Bowl. Oh my, the Cotton Bowl. Now here we go. All right, here we go. The Cotton Bowl. Now you know that would have to be a burn burner, which is number 8. You know what? I didn't know USC had moved up to number 8. Wow, that should be a really good game. That's USC versus Ohio State. That game is on ESPN. It's going to be played at the AT&T Stadium, and I guess that would be considered where the Cowboys play. You a Cowboy fan? You need an aspirin. Anyway, that game is being played in Arlington, Texas. On December 30th, the Tax Slayer Bowl. Virginia versus number 23, Mississippi State. That game is on ESPN at Everbank. Oh, really? It's being played in Jacksonville. I wonder what kind of draw that's going to be up in the Ville. Louisville versus Mississippi State. Okay. What we have here? We have AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Iowa versus Memphis. Memphis had a very exciting game against UCF, man. That game went into 2 overtimes, I think. And that was a high-scoring affair, going back and forth. So Memphis is going to score some points because they are high-scoring. I think they're one of the highest-scoring teams in the nation. They ranked number 20th. They're going up against Iowa State. So I might watch that game just to see what Memphis is going to do. And that game is being played in Memphis, Tennessee. I think they're treating Memphis right. I think they lost 2 games, and I think both games were to UCF. Okay, so that game is being played on December 30th in Memphis, Tennessee. The PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. That's number 11, Washington versus number 9, Penn State. That should be a good game. That game is being played at the University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Okay. This should be a good game. The Capital One Orange Bowl. Isn't it nice that wait a minute. How do you do this? This here makes no sense. See, that's what I'm saying. This here makes no sense. How does... Anyway, let me not get ahead of myself. Okay. The Capital One Orange Bowl. How does the Orange Bowl is not being played on the 1st? They're always... The Orange Bowl has always been on the 1st. Okay. Who am I? Number 10 versus number 6, Wisconsin. That game is being played in Miami, of course, the Orange Bowl. The Outback Bowl. Now we're on the 1st. We're on the 1st. Michigan versus South Carolina, which I'm trying to understand. There are teams that I've called off that are better than Michigan, better than South Carolina. How do they get to play on the 1st at the Outback Bowl? I just don't understand. I mean, I would rather watch the Miami, Wisconsin versus the Michigan, South Carolina on the 1st versus, what is this? The 30th, New Year's Day. So I'm totally confused. Okay. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. This should be interesting. This is number 12, UCLA versus number 7, Auburn. Okay, I have to say this. Auburn probably is without a doubt, one of the best teams in the country. For sure. We will find out in Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium on the 1st if UCLA is a good team. I don't expect UCLA to win this game. If they only get beat by 2 touchdowns, I would say they are a good team. If they win, it would blow me away. But if they only get beat by, let's just say, 2 touchdowns, I would say that they are a good team. I'm saying they're, based on them being 12-0 and what they are and the schedule and all of that and da da da. If Auburn only beat them by 2 touchdowns, I would say that they are a pretty good team. Otherwise, if they get blown out, be like, yeah, y'all, you guys just didn't play anybody. So I'm going to watch that game just to see if UCF is for real, because they're going up against a really good team. Okay. I wish Vince was here because I would love to talk with Vince about this. Okay. The Citrus Bowl presented by Overton, number 14, North Carolina versus number 17. Number 14, Notre Dame versus number 17, LSU. Did I just have a brain fart or something? Citrus Bowl. Okay, so Notre Dame and LSU coming to town on the 1st. Okay, that game is going to be on ABC, which is ESPN. It's going to be at Camping World Stadium. Okay, at the Citrus Bowl, really. That's really what it is, the Citrus Bowl. Okay, so not sure they say the quarterback from, is it Oklahoma is supposed to win the Heisman this year. And then let's just go to the playoffs. Let's go back up to the top. I hate college football. I hate it with a passion. It sucks. Okay. All right. Okay. College football. Georgia versus Oklahoma. Georgia versus Oklahoma at the Rose Bowl presented by Northwestern Mutual. Georgia versus Oklahoma. That is the Rose Bowl. Okay. That's the Rose Bowl. And then I guess the Sugar Bowl. Yep. Sugar Bowl. Okay. Because I saw New Orleans, so I'm guessing right. So it'll be Alabama versus Clemson for the 3rd year in a row. They're in the playoff. That should be a good game. We will see. And it's Alabama. Everybody is saying, the odds are Alabama's favorite to win it all. Interesting to see. It was a great game last year and the year before. So, not quite sure who is going to win it all this year. And I'm sorry, I just caught up with an old friend that I've been looking for over 30 years, and he just friended me on Facebook. So he's a guy that I played ball with in college, and I had been looking for him. And I used to tell him the story about how when I used to be in college and he was over in D-Land, and I used to go back and forth between D-Land and Daytona. And when it was cold at night, when I was on my motorcycle, I would spend the night at his house. And I had been looking for Scott. His name was Scott Walker. I've been looking for Scott. We used to call him Jet back in the day when we were, when we played ball. And I sent him a friend request earlier today, and he just friended me. He just accepted my friend, and he just said something. So when the show ends, I'm definitely gonna, say something to him. I've been looking for him for a very, very, very long time. So we got a lot of catching up to do. But anyway, don't know who. I have no idea who is going to win the championship this year. If you're asking me who I'm pulling for, if I had to pick between the 4, who would I pick just because? I guess maybe Clemson, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me, but I guess if I had to pick between the four, it would be between Georgia and Clemson would be who I would be pulling for. I don't know why. But my game that I do want to see again is the UCF and Auburn. I want to see how they're going to play against one of the elite teams in the country, and it kind of tells the country where that program is. And so we will see. And they just hired a new coach as well. So Frost went and accepted, I think he got a three-year deal at Nebraska. I'm not quite sure, but he said that he was happy to go home. So it's always good when you can go home. And again, I'm Charles Morse here at Youth Central Connection, and we're going to take another quick time out, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Hello, my brothers. Are you having a little trouble in the bedroom that's making you feel, well, a little less than? We have the answer for you. A new revolutionary breakthrough solution scientifically proven for men suffering from erectile dysfunction and Peyronie's disease. It's called Gainswave. Yes, Gainswave. Are you ready for increased girth, harder, stronger erections, increased sensation? Gainswave is the answer. Non-surgical, non-invasive, no side effects, no downtime. You need Gainswave, my brother. Call us at Rejuvenation Treatment Center, 407-830-4777. Again, that's Rejuvenation Treatment Center, 407-830-4777, to get you back in the game.
All right. Well, we're almost coming down to the hour. I've been trying to fill this hour. I'm going to call Mr. Vince Carter, see how he's doing. I hope he's okay. He didn't answer his phone, but he's been so tied up. He did tell me that his schedule is going to pick up a lot. So I'm pretty sure he'll be back with us next week. And again, you can always hit us up on Twitter, and you can email us as well. So let me see if I can find that email address for you. Here we go. Okay, if I can, let's see here. All right, here we go. I'm sorry. That's youthcentralsports@gmail.com. Trying to do too many things at once. But again, I'm Charles Morris. If you can email us at youthcentralsports@gmail.com. Happy to have you along with us on this Wednesday. We come to you live every Wednesday at from 11 to 12 p.m. right here on youthcentralsports.com. And looking forward to the bowl games coming up, and some good conversation to have with Mr. Vince Carter. And I don't know if you have your favorites, or even if hopefully your team are in one of the bowls. So come back, and we will, hopefully we will have Vince with us, as he is in Tennessee and he's taking on the second job working with some special need kids. And so I love to get an update every week on how that is going. That's something new for him. And so I think he'll be with us next week. So you make sure that you join us next Wednesday at 11 p.m. right here on youthcentralsports.com. And you have yourself a blessed week.